in the week of Nate James. I've got the wonderful Demiza from the USA, very influential producer, just a great guy. We've been chatting on Instagram for the past few months, and I was like, I want to show you my London. So I was like, I'm gonna take you to Borough Market. We're gonna go check out some food, taste some cheese and some hams and some sausage and whatever else we can get our hands on. Show them around the South Bank a little bit, and then go for some lunch.
Where's he gone? Where is he at?
Oh my God, he's on another stall. Right. So
This is amazing.
tell me what's been the best so far.
Blue cheese.
Not the
Blue
Christmas
cheese.
puddings?
Well, that was bomb too, but the blue cheese was, and the cheddar cheese was bomb.
I feel like that's an acquired taste.
We're just warming up, dude.
Yeah, he didn't like the blue cheese, but I love the blue. And the blue cheese and the,
You're obsessed with that.
I'm obsessed with that. And the breads, and I tried truffle oil.
Yeah,
I've never
Right.
tried that before. That was absolutely amazing.
I feel like any family of mine from the US, my dad's from North Carolina, so when they come over here and they come to London, I'm like, right, I'm gonna show you Brick Lane. We're gonna go for a classic Indian curry. There's a big like curry mile kind of vibe down there, and then Borough Market. We always go there. It's just
So it's Borough Market.
Borough Market. Yes.
It's so crazy to me just how old Indiana is. I mean, you look at America, we're like, what, 250 years, something like that. And then we're talking about one of the oldest societies in the world here.
I mean,
right?
it's the prison on the plaque on the prison down there was about 1174. Yeah, I mean, English history fascinates me anyway in
You
general.
have some
but, like,
torturous motherfuckers too. You know what I mean, brother? I mean, like,
we didn't suffer no fools back.
I
in the
was
day.
telling Bams and Skippy, I was like, yeah, that's the taller London where the king used to kill his bitches and get married again.
literally that. So it's your second time here in London?
Well, I've been here a few times. I
Okay.
was on tour with Mariah here a couple of times.
Talk to me about Did you just dropped a huge name there? Talk to me about because did she not give you your nickname?
Yeah.
I read this.
Well, we were at, it was the first record that I ever produced, which was I Still Believe, with Mariah, Crazy, and the Brat. And we were at Westlake Studios. And there was a lot of politics because I was in radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're like, we need a nickname for you.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, think of something. And Mariah, Brat, Crazy Bone, and Tracy Waples, who was the A&R person, they were all in this little room. And we're like sitting there, and she's like, damn. And then someone stuck their head in and said, RZA's working next door from the Wu-Tang.
Oh, yeah.
And do you want to come and say hello? And she's like, RZA, there you go. That's it. And
Stop.
but choosies.
Yeah.
And I was just like, great, let's do it. So that's how the name came about.
And you started off in music production in radio.
Well, I
And then
started
music
at
production-
radio when I was 12.
I saw you did is it Hot 97?
Well, I did Power. I started off with alternative radio, which is like I was an intern at like 12. I
Right.
became a program director at like 17, but I had to do rock because it was a rock town.
Right.
So, Garbage and Collective Soul and Smashing Pumpkins or
Right.
Atlantis more height era.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got to Power 106 in 97, which was my love.
These are, by the way, iconic US radio stations. Like,
Yeah.
if my songs ever get home to these stations, I will be happy as a pig in shit, quite literally.
Well, and then our sister station was Hot 97. And my old boss from Santa Barbara happened to be the program director of the New Yorker, Hot 97. So when I got, and he had 32 stations in the middle, so he said, look, I have this consultancy, you just run Power, and I'll leave you alone with Power 106, but help me with these other stations. So then I started traveling, doing Hot Power. I'd do 2 weeks in New York, 2 weeks in LA, and then on the weekends be at whatever station in Phoenix or whatever. You know what I mean? So it was a wild ride. It was a wild, but then I started producing records in '97 with meeting Mariah because it was a hobby to me.
This is made of like raisins and I guess wheat stuff, and you put brandy butter on it. Wheat.
Oh, yeah, we
You should get one. You basically pour the brandy butter over and light it with this alcoholic butter, and it lights up. It's a Christmas tradition over here. You should
Well,
get one.
after we
I don't think what it's like in the US. Have you had a mince pie?
Sounds like crack
Have you had a
to
mince
me.
pie before? An English mince pie?
No. What is that?
Oh,
It's basically Christmas pudding.
I'm
in
learning,
pastry.
like, Nate's got to teach me
Yeah, I'll teach you all these things. That's basically Christmas pudding. So it's like sweet, it's like fruit and nuts and all these good things, and you pour the brandy butter over it and light it on Christmas Day, and it's basically a dessert.
Okay, so after we have lunch,
You want a Christmas pudding?
we'll do a
All
pudding.
right, fine.
Being on the radio from 7 to midnight when I was a kid, there was nothing to do at midnight when you got off work.
Right.
So I just got a little W30 keyboard and started doodling like, what am I gonna do between midnight and 6 a.m. when I get ready to go to school?
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then I'd come home after school, take a nap, and then go do my radio gig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was more out of hobby. And then Mariah just asked me like, what else do you do? And I was like, oh, I make beats. Just Mariah, I make beats. She's like, oh, send me a tape. And I was like, yeah, cool, I'll send you a tape. And I didn't. And then she called me and she's like, look, I'm doing this remix for I Still Believe. Send me your beats. And I sent her like 4 or 5. But back in the day, we used to take these cassettes and put the tape over the top
Yeah.
of them. And I would just go get a free tape out of the locker and then go run some from mini disc or data, whatever,
Yeah.
and then just send them. But you would record over like what you recorded, the old beats that you put on there or something. You reuse the tapes basically. So I sent her the tape with the 4 beats, but at the very end of the tape, I had left old beats, and one of them was the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory sample, which was Leslie Bricusse and Anthony Newley. And I didn't record over the whole tape, so she was doing hair and makeup, and the 4 beats went. And she was just like, okay, nothing in there. It didn't hit stop on the tape. She just kept doing her hair and makeup. So then about halfway through, it just popped off and started playing like the bridge section of I Still Believe. And she's like, oh, that's the one. The radio's been so great to me. I mean, it was the platform where I met everybody, same kind of thing. And, I met the artists, and that's how I met 8 Dog, rest in peace. And what's crazy is I didn't know how big. Okay, so Nate and I, like 20 years ago, we're joking around in the studio. We made the song called Gangsta Rock. And we're just sitting there like, whatever. But we never used the track. Right. It was just some session musicians and whatever. And we just never used it. We just filed it away. Well, his estate gave Flex this a cappella. And the next thing I know, it was like 23 last year on the dance charts here. Some acapellas that I didn't even, so I get the Fortnite used it, all of these things. I'm like, what do you mean I got like the number 23 song in the UK? Like, it was just.
But I love that. We make music in the hope it will stand the test of time. But I think now with TikTok and the technology as it is, like youngsters find this beat or this hook on and they use it and it goes viral. And you're like, where did that paycheck come from? I love that.
Yo, my publishing statement this month was the biggest publishing statement I've ever gotten in my career. And it was literally from this song that was never released that Nate and I was joking around about. Like, it's funny because he used the hey in the Dr. Dre record. So this was the original one he did it in. So he was like, I can't use that record anyway because I used that melody line for Dr. Dre 2001. So it was just put away, and we never thought we'd ever use it. And then,
like a little mix.
Yeah, and then a manager just sends it to a DJ, and the next thing you know, I got top 25 record in the UK.
So what's been your biggest pinch me moment?
Pinch me moment as like I made it kind of.
Like I've arrived.
Oh, dude.
It's like, which ones? There's so many.
I'll blow your mind with this one. So it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had just started working like with Mariah regularly. You know what I mean? I became kind of her go-to guy. Anytime anything was going on, she'd call me and be like, what do you think?
I just can't. I'm trying to comprehend Mariah Carey picking up the phone and calling me. It's like, hey Nate. I'm like, hi Mariah. Like, I don't know. That just blows my mind anyway.
At first.
Now you see go.
Well, and it started off where she would call me every 2 days like clockwork. Like first, she was on Vocal Rest and on tour, so I get faxes for her. Like it was so weird. When we first started talking, she's like, look, I'm going on Vocal Rest, I'm going on tour. What's your fax number? And I'm like, fax number? Like, why do you want my fax number? She's just like, because I can't talk, I'll send you notes. So this was to Power, by the way. So the receptionist at Power, I'd be getting these fax with this women's writing, and they'd be like, what are you doing? Like you're getting love notes sent
from Mariah Carey.
Yeah, but it's because, she's like love, Mimi or something. You know what I mean? And the staff was just like, dude, are you mental? Like, you're getting love notes faxed to you from like Hawaii and like London and all of these places from the same, like, are you scooping? And I'm like, dude, it's fucking Mariah Carey. Like, and they'd be like, yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're just trying to cover that shit. But anyway, so we started talking like, once every couple of days. And then like when we started working on Rainbow is where it started really, because I put her with Jay-Z for Rainbow, because I had broken Jay-Z and
That's what I love about you as well. You are a connector like me. You love to just put people, if you
Synergy.
can, pull them together. It's great.
So, anyways, she calls me at like 3 o'clock in the morning one morning, and I'm dead asleep. And she goes, "Get your passport. We're going to Korea." And I go, "Korea? No, you're going to Korea. I'm going to work in the morning." She goes, "Do you want to meet Michael Jackson or not?" "Oh, yeah." And I said,
Done.
"What airport?" And she goes, "Meet me at LAX or Van Nuys, at 8 a.m. Just get your stuff and just be there." And I'm like, "Well, what's going on?" She goes, "He had a show in South Korea. The tickets weren't selling. He asked me to come do it. I'll be there with him. And the tickets sold out. And by the way, I'm bringing Luis Miguel with us." And I'm like, "Luis Miguel?" And I'm like, "Wait, that guy that you met in Aspen, the Latin singer or whatever?" So I call my friend, who I power, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is Luis Miguel?" And the lady dropped the phone and started screaming. We get on the plane, we get there, we get to the stadium, and she walks up to me and she goes, "Do you want to meet Mike?" And I'm like,
I would have died.
I'm like, well, and in my head, that's when it clicked. It's like, okay, you made it. Like when you're about to meet the king.
Literally.
Like when you meet the king, then you made it.
Yeah.
And that's that. You know what I mean?
over.
So, and I'm walking in with the queen
Mariah
bitch.
Carey.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
love that.
it's like-
Mariah took me to meet Michael.
Yeah,
That's
That's the phrase right there.
You know what I mean? Like the number one arts female in the world,
Yeah.
the number one male, and then the number one Latin singer.
Yeah.
But we get there, and Michael goes, "Do you guys want to watch the show?" And we're like, "Well, duh, yeah."
Yeah.
So Michael sits us on the side of the stage. So it's me, Luis, and Mariah just standing on the side of the stage watching Michael Jackson
Oh my God.
pop out of the center of the thing, right? And when he pops out, I'm sitting there just going like, okay, I just shark a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, just half sit, half fart. And, like, oh my God, that's Michael Jackson. And then he would come over and start a conversation with us. Like, and I'm standing there like, okay, here's Mariah, here's Luis Miguel. I'm like, who the fuck am I right now?
Yeah.
Like, how am I standing with this little group of people having this conversation?
Brilliant.
And he was so just incredible. Like, he had done the Broadway stage play 1,000,000 times. So he'd go out there, do like Smooth Criminal in the outfit, then run past us, go into this little dressing booth, change into Thriller, pick up the conversation right where he left off.
And then go on stage and carry on
Then
singing.
say, "Excuse me," then go out there and do all a Thriller, then come back and say, "But that's why you need to call so-and-so. Her number is," hold on 1 second, then go.
Quick change, Billie Jean,
Then
whatever,
then
yeah.
Come back and go 555
Oh my
26.
God.
Hold on.
The way
Then
his
go back
mind
out there.
worked.
Do it. So I'm like sitting there just going like, what the fuck? So I walk around and I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna just look around and whatever. And I see this crutch come flying at my face. His head of security was like, "What are you doing? Spying?" And I'm like, "Dude, look at these people." Like, the conversation was too big for me to be in. So we get back to the hotel. Mariah calls me and goes, "Okay, so what happened backstage?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Well, we're going to Michael's hotel and you're not invited. So what did you do?" And I'm like, I was looking around, I told her, she's like, "Okay, I totally understand. But apparently during Smooth Criminal, you were making a lot of noise and it was throwing Michael off." And I'm like, "He heard me?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I was like, whoops.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. But then
The
2
noise
weeks
with you
later-
fangirling, screaming in the background.
Yeah, I'm like,
I mean,
whatever.
like,
I mean, I'm
who wouldn't?
losing my shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So, and so then, when 2 weeks later, I'm in,
City life, carry on.
so 2 weeks later, I'm in LA in the recording studio, and I see the Sultan of Brunei's limo pull up in the fucking alley. Michael gets out and runs in the fucking video store. And I'm sitting there with Nate Dogg, and Nate looks over at me and goes, "Michael." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." So I'm standing there, or he comes out and he looks in the studio, and I'm sitting up on the thing, and he looks at me and just goes, like, "You're gonna come over and say hi, or are you just gonna sit there?" And I'm like,
Michael remembers me.
Okay, so is he mad at me? Is he gonna cuss me out? So I jumped down. I go, hey, Michael, I'm really sorry about it. He goes, oh, don't worry about it, Damien. And I was like, fucking remembered
My name, yeah.
And he's like, how you been? And I was like tripping out on that. And so I was talking to a friend of mine, Trish Bach, who runs MJJ. And I was like, yeah, man, and Michael, remember my name? She goes, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. Apparently he's a little disappointed in you. And I'm like, for what? He goes, he came into my office a couple of weeks ago and he was crying. And I said, okay. And he goes, well, Damien's my friend. Why isn't he playing my record on Power 106? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, did you ever talk to Michael on the phone? And I go, yeah, like years ago, I like, you know, there was just this thing where, you know, he called and like, that was the first time like meeting him, but I didn't think it was like meeting him. It was, I was one of radio guys on the phone and we said hello and I'm his local radio station. I mean, because, well, he listens to you every night or listened to you every night growing up, like he thought you were friends. And I was like, friends? And I only talk to him. She goes, you don't understand. Michael doesn't meet people.
Yeah.
Like he's in a bubble. So if you meet him once, you're a friend.
Solid, yeah.
You meet him twice, you're one of his best friends.
We should probably make a move into town to get some food.
Yeah, we could pick up some.
Yeah.
Some more stories. You're a good storyteller, bro.
Right?
Thank you. Do you want to just maybe keep that when you're poking? We'll just switch it off so run out back.
Here, I'll just